Welcome to The Explainer. Have you ever had one of those jobs that just seems to drain the life out of you? I mean, not just mentally, but physically too? Well, today we're jumping into a really profound story that starts with a prison guard who felt exactly that. And a single question he asked a philosopher led to an answer that might just change how you see your own work forever.
So it all starts with this incredibly raw and honest question. You have a prison guard who's been suffering from health problems for years, and he's convinced his job is the reason why. He feels like he must be doing something fundamentally wrong, but he can't figure out what. You can feel the desperation there, right? This isn't just about his health. He's really searching for the meaning in his daily struggle.
All right, so here's how we're going to unpack the lecturer's amazing answer. First, we'll dig into the guard's question itself. Then, we'll uncover this really surprising connection he makes. After that, we'll see how he completely redefines the guard's role, gives it a powerful new mission, and finally, we'll look at how we can apply this whole thing to our own lives. Okay, first up, let's really put ourselves in the guard's shoes. This isn't some abstract thought experiment. This is a question coming from a place of real pain, born from the day-in, day-out pressure of working inside a prison. So, you can see the dilemma. He feels trapped. He's convinced his physical pain and his job are somehow linked. He thinks his entire attitude must be off, and he's desperately looking for a new way, a better way, to approach a job that surrounds him with confinement and suffering every single day. Now here's where the lecturer's response gets really unexpected. He doesn't just offer some simple advice. Instead, he points out this hidden connection, this kind of wild symmetry between the guard and the very inmates he's watching over. So the lecturer puts forward this pretty radical idea. These pairings are not random at all. A guard and an inmate, a doctor and a patient. He says they're brought together because they share a similar mass. Basically, they're grappling with two sides of the same human problem. It's almost like nature sets them up as mirrors for each other, for one big reason, to learn from each other. This just completely flips the script, doesn't it? Normally, we see these as opposites, the good guy versus the bad guy, the healer versus the sick. But this new perspective says, nope, they're partners. They're two essential parts of one system, put together on purpose to figure something out. We've all heard this phrase before, right? But here, it suddenly takes on this much deeper, way more active meaning. It's not just a nice sentiment anymore. It's an instruction. It's saying, look past the act itself. Start your investigation there. Look at the conditions, the causes, and the person behind it all. So, if this whole relationship is really a setup for mutual study, then what does that actually make the guard? This question is what leads to the complete reinvention of his professional identity. This is the pivot point. The lecturer is basically challenging the guard to throw out the old job description. If a prison is a kind of laboratory for understanding human nature, then you can't just be a guard, right? Your role has to be something more, something bigger. And there it is, the new definition. The guard is no longer just a watchman or an enforcer. He is now a frontline researcher of social phenomena. The prison is his lab, and his job is to investigate one of the most complex human experiments happening on the planet. I mean, look at this shift. It changes everything. The inmates aren't just a problem to be managed anymore. They become the primary source, the research material, for the guard's incredibly important study. And the job? It goes from being a monotonous duty to a fascinating long-term research project. Okay, but research for the sake of research is just collecting data. To be really meaningful, this new role needs a mission. So what's the ultimate point of this incredibly difficult and important study? And this is what takes the job from a daily grind and turns it into a noble cause. The purpose isn't just to understand crime. It's to discover fundamental truths that can help all of humanity. It's about contributing to a future with less suffering, a future where, just maybe, we might not even need prisons anymore. And this isn't just some vague, lofty idea. It's an actual, actionable process. The lecturer tells him to become a scientist. First, observe without judgment. Then, start to see the patterns. From there, form ideas about the root causes. And, this is the crucial part, share what you learn with the world. Think about that transformation for a second. The hours you put in on the job are no longer just time served. They become data points in a project that creates real value for society. By documenting his insights, maybe by writing a book like the lecturer suggests, the guard can turn his difficult experience into a genuine gift for everyone. So, this powerful shift in perspective, it's not just for one prison guard. The implications here are huge for all of us. Let's bring this home now and see how we can actually apply this to our own jobs, no matter what we do. Here's the final and maybe most important point. This idea applies to everyone. You are in your specific job with all its unique challenges and frustrations because you are the perfect person to be conducting research right there, right now. All your daily struggles, your difficult coworkers, your little successes, that is your research data. You know, the reason most of us don't see our work this way is because we're missing this framework. We don't have that mentor helping us connect the dots. We just get so caught up in the tasks and the deadlines that we miss the bigger picture. But with this new perspective, literally any job can become a fascinating and deeply meaningful journey of discovery. And that really is the heart of this whole explainer. And it leaves us with one final big question to think about. Is your work just simple labor, or is it great research? How you answer that might just change everything.